Hi everyone, a massive warm welcome to today's Altcoin Bible session. I always enjoy doing these on a Wednesday. It is so much fun to dive into the charts and find some relevant cryptos that are doing some interesting things. And right now, I have actually decided to look at two fairly popular cryptos in terms of Shiba Inu and XRP. They're both quite hype-driven, speculative cryptos, especially in bull markets. They have a tendency to really pump. Now, Shiba Inu is a relatively new coin, so I'm going to have a look at that. But XRP has been around for a little while. It's not looking too flashy, albeit most cryptos look, well, altcoins after the recent pump that it's had, it is now in more of a consolidation band before potentially a move higher. What we just have to remember here as well, before I talk about Bitcoin Cash, is the US dollar is absolutely surging. So it is providing a tremendous amount of downward pressure on risk markets like US equities and also cryptocurrencies. So crypto is the riskiest asset class in the universe right now, and it gets hit over the head almost doubly, 3 times, 4 times as hard if traditional finance is getting whacked by larger macro forces. So just keep that in mind. Also, Bitcoin not looking too flash here after falling underneath the 200-week moving average. So again, altcoins are very much a levered play on Bitcoin in most respects. So if Bitcoin is really not looking too flash and it's fallen beneath a crucial support, then altcoins are going to see some pressure to really rally. So just keep that in mind going into the next week. When you're looking for altcoins that might move and whatnot, the party might be spoiled at any moment by what's happening above it. So just keep that in mind across the board. As always, we're just looking to educate as well. I'll just point out as well, Bitcoin Cash, I have that here. It is looking actually rather good, as if it has bottomed on the weekly. So I wanted to show you that, because when cryptos tend to find that true bottom, they tend to have a lot of runway for a relief rally to the upside. So there are potential gains there to be made in the short term. So I'll show that. That's my cherry ripe this week. But let's start on XRP. Again, very popular cryptocurrency. It's been around multiple cycles. You know, what is it now? 34 cents, 34 US cents. I remember back in 2017, it rallied, I think, up to about $3 or $4. I mean, it was absolutely wild in those times. And then the previous cycle didn't do quite as well, but absolutely had a great rally. So in peak mania phases, XRP has tremendous marketing, has a huge community. Those are some of the things you want to look for in an investment in crypto, as well as fundamental analysis. You actually want to own something that's going to perform in the mid to long term, but also you can look at a short-term bracket basket of cryptos like meme tokens, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. If that floats your boat, you want to make a quick buck and know how to handle it, absolutely. As long as your risk tolerance is there and you understand how to do that, go full bore. And it's something we absolutely cover in our masterclass course. So keep that in mind as well if you're looking to take the next level and aren't a part of the course. All right, let's look at XRP just quickly. This is actually, I'm going to throw it out. This is my danger zone. Again, that being said, a lot of altcoins look very similar to this, but I wanted to use XRP because a lot of people have eyeballs on it. Now, why this is my danger zone, just take a look at this structure here. So we broke down back here, just like all other altcoins, and Bitcoin looks pretty similar to that. But check out this huge horizontal was support, and now it's resistance. So we're going to run back into it as resistance. You can see there, bang, ran straight into it. We couldn't even rally to the point where we wanted to test it again. So that's pretty telling that there's not a lot of power in the bulls at this area, especially for XRP. Look on the right-hand side, though. This is a huge area of volume. So this is going to be a very choppy area, as you can see, chop down, chop up, chop. This is how bottoms are eventually formed. So I don't know whether XRP is going to go lower. I don't know whether it's going to rally from here either. But what is sure known is that there is a tremendous amount of buy and sells in this area. So a lot of XRP is changing hands between 40 cents and down to about 30 cents. So it's a crucial area. A lot of rallies will get absorbed and sellers will come in, and a lot of buyers will come in towards the bottom of that and rally higher. And that's how the chop is sort of formed until one side can get a seriously decisive break. And generally that is around, if we're looking at now in time, we're probably looking at an extreme low point in the market. So as soon as the sellers do significantly weaken, and it looks like they are across the board, as soon as the bulls begin to take over again, then look out. That's when the spring can happen to the upside and we enter a new phase of the market. Not quite a bull market, but with the relief rally phase, and then we start to grind higher in a positive trend. That's what you want to see. Right now though, XRP, still very much in the chop. I really like what it was doing, same with many other cryptos, with this higher low, higher high structure. So you've got a low here, a higher low, and we moved up again. Hopefully we're going to find support along this trend line. You can see we also made those higher highs. So 1, 2. So 2 is probably the minimum you want. You do want 3. I would love to have seen a third high for XRP to go higher, but we didn't see that. In fact, we saw on the RSI, the bullish momentum begin to trail off. So we had this hit here on the resistance. Sellers absorbed all those buys, so really pumped things back down, and bulls just couldn't get momentum. So if we saw a higher high here, what we wanted to see on the RSI is this peak here higher than this last peak, and that is super important, because what we had was a bit of a what's called a bearish divergence. So there's 2 peaks up here on price, but overall on the momentum oscillator, you're seeing bulls weaken, and that's not what you want to see if you're expecting continuation. You want to see strength, strength, strength through resistance zones, and we just weren't seeing that. And it needs it too, because there's a lot of volume ahead, and a lot of traders, I can guarantee you, will have sell orders stuck here, which will provide resistance. So you need enough buyers to move through that area. So for XRP now, it is absolutely imperative that it breaks back into this positive trend zone. And I'm just going to say up here, it needs to break into this area. Now, the issue is with breaking back in, as you can see, it's having a little bit of trouble already, is smashing this line. Is the 21 moving average is now above it. So that will act as confluent resistance with this trend line. That is a little bit of a concern for me. And just generally, it wants to get back into this trend. Although if you look overall, and this is why if you're looking at short term, it can be quite different from medium to long term. Medium to long term, you've got to look at this and say, well, it's just made a higher low. So you've got the low over here. There's another low here, which is higher than the last, and then another low over here. If it does steady here, that's a higher low from the last. So it could absolutely rally from here, but right now it's got a lot of resistance above it, and it's got a lot of points to prove, and I'm just not seeing it just yet. It's also got a heavy volume area just above it here in the middle, not just up the top. So XRP going to run into a bit of issues. It may want to refuel before it goes higher. So that's really important to remember in crypto, or just in trading in general. Sometimes an asset will need liquidity before it can move higher. It needs to, push higher, let the sellers come in and engage, get them out of the way, and then go a bit lower, get those buyers to come in and push higher. So I've got some levels here, which I think are super, super relevant at the bottom of this volume profile. So as we said, the bottom of this larger range is around about 30 cents. That if you can buy at 30 cents, that's probably a fairly decent area to get interested. Was that 31 cents there and 32 cents there? It's in line with the Fibonacci retracement. So if we just draw from the low to the high, you can move there. That's the 0.618 there. So exactly where we are now. It's fallen into a reasonably good buy zone already. So, whether we get lower, I'm not sure. If we did break lower, then it's in a new range down here. Could go as low as 0.31, I think. So that's probably where I'm looking. And then again, if we fall, and you can see here, if we fall beneath this level here, this key volume support, there's just nothing beneath it. So we're going to fall all the way down to 21 cents in line with previous lows, I believe. Yeah, so December 20. So this area is going to be a huge area of support. You'll get a lot of buyers coming in with a lot of interest around there. So just think of that in certain levels. It's falling and falling, falling. Generally, as you look at it, especially if you're looking in cycles, the lower you go, the more interested buyers get. But there's got to be some history behind it. There's got to be some confluence here. And you can see over here just how much volume was traded over in these areas. You see these huge bars on the daily if you zoom out. So, yeah, that's where I see it there. Uptrend remains, high, low, yeah. So everything there I think we've discussed. Now, if XRP were to rally from, let's say, it drops down, finds some liquidity, or it rallies from here, I think the 200 daily moving average is a really good point to take some profits, as well as 40 cents. I think you can clip something there, and you can move higher and clip definitely some more at 50 cents, 54, because generally these rallies don't always carry to the main resistance point. They can start to peter out a little bit before, especially in bear markets. Look at the volume as well on the side. If it can break above that 40 cents, it's got this huge gulf here. You see not much volume in between. It can really run towards this 200 at about that 54. So that's why I have it. That's the rationale. But currently XRP not looking too flash, probably finding, in fact, not probably, it is running into that resistance underneath that trend line. You can see bang, 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 and it just probably wants to come down a bit lower. All right, let's crack into SHIBA INU, the other favorite Doge coin. So I actually think this is one to watch, and I thought it could be cherry ripe, but we're not really seeing that much bullishness from it. So I'll just keep that very, very clear. It is in a very clear uptrend here. So you've got these higher lows, very, very visible higher lows. In fact, I can get out my little drawing there. You can see there, these highs much, much higher than the last. And then this one, boom, got much, much higher than the last one. So higher highs across the board, and then higher lows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's really moving up in a really nice phase there, and it had the blast of the upside. So it's almost the exact reverse of what happened over this side on the left-hand side, and it's almost doing a large head-shaped reversal, as you can see. Ran straight to the 200 daily moving average, so exactly what we're saying that XRP really could and would do in the midterm to find resistance. Now it's had a really nice pullback from this spike up from the 200, so it's falling right into these nice buy zones. You could say in a cradle area, but really it's falling back into the liquidity here. You can see this big volume spike, 1, 2, and 3. So I think right in here is actually a reasonably good area to buy, but of course a bit lower, I think, and it's probably in line to get best value is probably a little bit lower, and it's probably in line if Bitcoin shows weakness, the dollar keeps strengthening, you're likely going to see some of this area get tagged. But right now, it should be showing some really nice strength here, although it is struggling just to reclaim that 0.786, but I don't know if that matters too much right here. It's above the 21 moving average, so a lot of things really adding up here. So the RSI now, you know, it doesn't look great in terms of, you know, it looks fairly flat and sideways, but what it is doing, quite importantly, is creating those higher lows. So low, 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 each one just slightly higher than last. That's all you really want. Also, the highs are larger each time as well. So very, very clear trend. SHIBA, if around here and it begins to rally, I think really could take out the 200 daily. And if it does, it's running up here to 20, what's that? There's multiple zeros in front, but you can see there what it could absolutely hit. After that point, it's probably going to run into that serious resistance there. Like I said, take, was it 0.20 something there? The volume is going to come into play. There's going to be a lot of resistance, a lot of sellers going to come in here, and then it probably comes back in a consolidation band. So something similar like this, if it breaks that 200, back test a little bit, then run straight into that, like a little bit above it, then could come down to more of a consolidation and start to move out that way. That's how over time it should look, but you know, at the end of the day, who knows? But yes, the fib's looking really, really nice in terms of this cradle zone. Also, that trend is still in play. Really, really like it. It's quite different to a lot of other cryptos at the moment. A lot of them look like XRP. So this is absolutely one to watch over this next little phase. Okay, now let's get into my cherry ripe. So I'm going to go into the weekly at the start of this one, and I'll zoom in a little bit. So Bitcoin Cash, we just have a look on the real broad scale. So this goes back all the way to 2018 when the fork wars happened. And Bitcoin Cash split off from Bitcoin. You can look into, you know, what all that was about, but essentially a whole new Bitcoin was created. In terms of Bitcoin Cash, had a tremendous run when it did. Everyone that held Bitcoin got free Bitcoin Cash. But you can see here the low that it made in December 18, around about 88 bucks. Where did we just hit? Around about that point at about 100 bucks. So I think we are bottoming here, especially on the weekly. It looks fairly obvious that we have. It's almost like a nice big double bottom. Not saying this can't go lower, but when you look at the RSI, this is a record low in the RSI. You go back, we weren't even this low back in 2018. So this big capitulation that we've just seen is the worst it's ever seen in terms of momentum. Didn't quite get as low in price terms, but you get what I mean. The momentum was there. The capitulation was huge, a lot of losses. So this is a good area, as I've seen, for a bottom to really pop. And you can see it really tried, almost had a bit of a dead cat bounce, but now we're really grinding through this. It wants to move a bit higher. So 103, if it gets back there, fantastic. I mean, it's a really good buy zone to look at. RSI looks horizontal support. So yeah, in these sort of times, especially when you're looking at cycles, I remember talking with our mastermind clients like last couple of years. We were in a very similar situation in 2019, and we're all gearing up for the next bull cycle. We have to be very, very patient. Look at the cryptos that we want. And we're looking at just these on the weekly, just one horizontal line, maybe another to find a bottoming range. This is where buyers will get very, very interested. This is the long-term key support levels that you want to look at. This is exactly what I'm saying here in Bitcoin Cash. And what happens after that point, you know, you wait a few years, you've got your investment strategy, and you become very, very happy in a couple of years' time if you lay the groundwork now. So everything looking here really, really nice. Now, what this does have the capacity to do, because we're coming from a really sharp extreme drop in the market, if we go, let's say, up to the 21, that's a 60% rise. If we go up to the next key horizontal area, that's a 90% rise. And I think it can do it fairly quickly. Again, it's just too fast, too quick to the downside sometimes. And when you're at bottoming areas, max pain is to the upside. You just get a lot more reflexivity. You can get really strong bounces and make a lot of money really quickly. And especially if you're playing the long game, you can just have a lot of profits right away. And it's a really good way to look at it. So the 21 weekly, absolutely in play. In fact, let me go to the daily because I think that's probably more useful now, just to see that trend. So you can see it came down, tested that key horizontal on the weekly, got above the 21 on the daily, moved higher. So the trend is pretty clear. You've got these higher highs beginning to form, and you've got these lower lows. Now, we had a bit of a pullback over here, but overall, I think you need to look at the broader trend. So the low here is probably one to look at. This next low is a higher low. We want to see another one form over this side, but I love what's happening here. This higher low has formed, and now it's beginning to rally back above the 21. If it does that, I think it's going to 215 pretty quickly. RSI, similar looking shape. I think Bitcoin Cash is looking cherry ripe for a bit of a short-term blast, if I'm honest. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, love the high highs and higher lows. But look, overall, if you want to wait for confirmation, you probably want to wait for at least another, let's say, higher low and another high. Probably want to get up here somewhere, another higher low over here. And then you can be reasonably confident we're going to come up here and move into these areas. Right now, I'm not sure, lower lows are on the cards right now, but again, if you are looking at that 103.6, then you get down here, you're getting in some areas where, it can really fall over. You don't really want to see a crypto fall beneath, 2018, 19 support. That's pretty bleak, and you'll have to wait for another bottom to form. This is a good areas I've seen to come in. In fact, let me just put my volume profile on. Yeah, there as well. So completely supported by this volume. I don't know whether this gets cracked again. It would have to take a fair amount. But once it gets above these areas again, it can really fly. Not much is sitting above it. So a lot of sellers came in, pushed the market much, much lower. Now buyers can really run the table if they want to come in and play ball. So I hope you've enjoyed this altcoin Bible. As always, reach out if you have any questions or comments. I always have a blast. Don't forget to read our monthly newsletter with all the buy and sell signals contained in there with our top 10 portfolio. So don't forget about that as well, which is released tomorrow. So I will get onto that and finish off those signals today. So have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.